Kratos, the Ghost of Sparta. For millions of gamers worldwide, the absolute greatest of all time. And honestly, it's no surprise. It's a brutal, legendary tale of a god of war who solves his problems in the most epic and bloody ways imaginable. But what does Kratos do when he's not busy slaughtering Greek or Norse pantheons? Well, he visits other worlds, and some of them make absolutely no sense. Here are 10 video games where Kratos made a guest appearance. Let's kick things off with something that sounds like an absolute joke. Imagine the mighty, blood-drenched God of War suddenly dropping into a charming 8-bit retro platformer. First up is Shovel Knight, specifically the PlayStation version. Kratos appears here as a secret, incredibly tough boss. To face him, players need to get their hands on a hidden item called the Curious Map. Honestly, this was a brilliant and highly rewarding Easter egg for PlayStation fans. The developers did a fantastic job translating Kratos' iconic moveset into a 2D pixel art style. But this is just the warm-up, because the next entries get way weirder.
You will not see the end of this day.
Let's travel back to 2011, when the iconic Mortal Kombat 9 dropped on 7th generation consoles. Kratos fit into this ultra-violent world perfectly, appearing as a guest character exclusively for PlayStation 3 players. And the developers absolutely nailed his moveset. Kratos was fully loaded with his signature gear: the Blades of Chaos, the Bow of Apollo, the Golden Fleece, the Boots of Hermes, and even Helios' severed head. But here is the coolest part. This appearance is actually canon. In God of War Ragnarok, Mimir explicitly asks Kratos about his time in this strange tournament, mentioning he heard stories of Kratos fighting beasts, scoundrels, and gods. Kratos simply replies, "I will not speak of this." Classic Kratos.
Brother, I've heard my share of stories about your homeland, but I've also heard that you once fought in a tournament.
I fought in many contests.
But this particular one, I heard you did battle with beasts, scoundrels, princesses, the undead, automatons, and history's greatest musician. That's not true, is it?
I would not speak of this.
Fair enough, brother.
You can do nothing to stop me!
Since Kratos already proved he could dominate in fighting games, it was time for another tournament, but this time on the go. Back in 2009, the God of War became the ultimate guest star in Soul Calibur Broken Destiny for the PSP. The developers at Bandai Namco treated his appearance with massive respect. Kratos wasn't just a lazy reskin, he had a completely unique fighting style built around the Blades of Chaos. The game even featured a dedicated gauntlet mode that served as a mini storyline for him. His weapon-based combat fit perfectly into the Soul Calibur universe. Honestly, seeing Kratos unleash absolute havoc on a small handheld screen back then was mind-blowing. Next up, we have one of the most well-hidden and subtle cameos on this list. In 2007, PlayStation 3 welcomed Heavenly Sword, an epic hack-and-slash where the protagonist, Nariko, fought using massive blades. The overall vibe was so close to the Ghost of Sparta's adventures that the developers couldn't resist throwing in a brilliant Easter egg. In one of the levels, inside an armory packed with ancient armor and weapons, you can spot Kratos' exact armor set, and hanging right next to it are his iconic Blades of Chaos. By the way, finding a clean clip of this moment online is nearly impossible. There's barely anything about it on YouTube, but I managed to dig up this footage just for you guys. Kratos doesn't rip anyone's head off in this one, but this hidden crossover still blows fans' minds to this day. We've seen Kratos as a 2D pixel character and as a hidden armor set, so how about a papercraft God of War? Yes, you heard that right. We're moving over to the PlayStation 4 for the incredibly charming, paper-themed platformer Tearaway Unfolded. In this game, you can fully customize your character, and the developers at Media Molecule threw in an amazing treat for fans: an official Kratos papercraft costume. You can literally slap his iconic, angry face, complete with the red tattoo, paper goatee, and permanently furious eyebrows, onto your little messenger. Watching this cute paper creature run around a colorful world looking like it's ready to rip Zeus limb from limb is pure comedy gold. It's the definition of a brilliant, totally absurd crossover. Buckle up, because we are entering the zone of pure absurdity. Imagine a guy who slaughtered the entire Greek pantheon, and now he's trying to get a hole-in-one. Back in 2008 on the PlayStation 3, Kratos became a playable DLC character in Hot Shots Golf Out of Bounds. And this wasn't just a lazy reskin. The developers gave him fully custom animations. Instead of a standard golf club, Kratos swings a specially modified Blade of Chaos, screaming with the type of rage you'd expect if the fate of the world was on the line.
I am the god of golf!
When you hit a perfect shot, lightning literally strikes around him, and if you mess up, he snaps his club in half out of pure fury. Seeing the Ghost of Sparta in a colorful, cheerful sports game is something you just can't unsee. Since the God of War already proved his skills in golf, it was only a matter of time before he moved on to illegal go-kart racing. In 2010, PlayStation 3 and PSP welcomed ModNation Racers, a wild kart racer focused on user-generated content. Sony decided to spice things up and offered an official Kratos pack as a pre-order bonus. The Ghost of Sparta was transformed into a cute, vinyl figure-style racer, but he didn't lose an ounce of his signature rage. Best of all, Kratos didn't drive just any regular go-kart. His ride was custom-built to look like a mythical battle chariot. Watching a miniaturized God of War mean-mugging the camera while hitting a nitrous boost, ramming opponents, and blasting them with rockets around tight corners is an absolute trip. Who knew kart racing would look so good on his resume? We're hitting the podium, and up next is an absolute classic when it comes to PlayStation crossovers. The Little Big Planet series has always shown massive love for Kratos, but it was in the third installment on PS3 and PS4 where the developers went all out. In this universe, Kratos isn't a towering, menacing god, he's a cute, stitched-together yarn doll known as a Sackboy. Through a special DLC pack, players got a beautifully detailed Ghost of Sparta costume, complete with plush version of the Blades of Chaos strapped to his back. The coolest part about Little Big Planet 3 is that it introduced new playable characters, meaning Kratos got some hilariously wild variants, like a fast four-legged version for Oddsock and a massive heavy version for Toggle. Watching a tiny smiling Sackboy dressed up as Olympus's worst nightmare is pure gaming magic. Right before the grand finale, we are landing on the PlayStation 5. If you've ever touched this console, you definitely know this cute little robot. It all started in the free pack-in title Astro's Playroom, where you could find a Kratos bot chilling in a wooden boat next to a miniature Atreus bot. If you smacked him, he'd throw his Leviathan axe directly at your screen. But that was just a teaser. In the full-fledged Astrobot game, which completely took the world by storm and won the prestigious Game of the Year award, the developers went all out. They created an entire dedicated level 100% inspired by the God of War universe. Our little bot actually wields the Leviathan axe, allowing you to throw it, recall it, and even freeze obstacles and Norse enemies. This isn't just a lazy Easter egg, it's an incredible, passion-filled tribute to the Ghost of Sparta that feels absolutely amazing to play. Sitting comfortably at the #1 spot, it couldn't be anything else. In December 2020, something happened that altered internet pop culture forever. The brutal, permanently enraged Kratos officially entered the world of Fortnite as part of the Gaming Legends series. And while the Ghost of Sparta skin itself and his Leviathan axe pickaxe looked absolutely phenomenal, the internet completely lost its mind for a whole different reason. The game's emote system allowed for something previously thought impossible. Players could now make the mighty Slayer of Olympus do cheerful K-pop dances or hit the Griddy right next to Master Chief in Naruto. For some purists, it was total blasphemy. For everyone else, it was the funniest thing in gaming history. One thing is for sure, this guest appearance is an absolute legend.